did you miss my videos where I blow stuff up in Kerbal space program? Well, wait no more. Again! Hello everybody and welcome. After, well, a couple of weeks where I have videos more on like the game development side of things, I am now back in Kerbal Space Program and continuing something I did way back in last year, where I said I'm starting fresh and trying to set up some infrastructure. And this very peculiar shaped rocket is part of that infrastructure deal. If you remember the first episode, we did some Minmus mining rig construction back then. And this is sort of the continuation, but not with Minmus or the Mun, but we're going to a whole different place. This time, we're trying to go to Duna. Yeah, everybody's talking about establishing Mars colonies, etc. But here we don't have Mars, we have Duna in Kerbal Space Program, but it is sort of the red planet analog. And this is basically all I need to establish the first resource mining operations. We have an orbital way station for Duna orbit, we have a fuel depot for Duna's moon Ike, and we have a mining rig and a fuel shuttle and some other things that you will see soon. Or, well, actually, you're going to see all of that in action next week, because I had to split this up into 2 episodes. More on that a little bit later, and if you don't want to miss that next episode, make sure you are subscribed to this channel, because we're going big with this one, and I also really want to hit that 100,000 subscriber milestone before, well, a couple of weeks into this year. Maybe we can do that. There were some really great additions over the past weeks, so if you're a new subscriber, welcome, and I hope you enjoy this type of content as well. The game development updates, especially on Kitten's Space Agency, will continue, and if there is any news on Kerbal Space Program 2 history stuff, of course you will know that here as well. Now, we are already here at Duna. We have ditched our fairings and interplanetary transfer stage. And basically what we're doing here now is separating our orbital way station for Duna. The idea of that is that it can hold, well, a little bit of fuel and also a lot of Kerbals, and it has docking ports for basically everything. It also has a science lab, and yeah, it can be expanded with more should the need arise in the future. So we just expanded the solar panels, and of course then we have to put the station into the sun, otherwise we would lose electricity fast, because there's a lot of reaction wheels in there, because this is intended to be sort of the building block for a bigger station maybe down the line. Down the line is also Ike on our orbital trajectory, where we are heading now with this. You can see the orbital station in the back, throwing some shade on us. And what we're also seeing here is the blue tint that is thanks to those visual beautiful mods that I have installed. Namely, Scatterer and Environmental Visual Enhancements. I also have some UI mod installed. And while we're heading to Ike, I have a question for you. There has been quite the different types of content on my channel. There is the KSP videos, there are the KSP development history videos, there are the Kitten Space Agency videos, and well, there were also sometimes videos about European spaceflight stuff, and also what SpaceX and other US companies are doing in space. And yeah, before we get to that, I have to mention something. I destroyed my relay. Again! What I was trying to say, since my content is kind of meandering through different topics, I was kind of trying to ask you guys, and so please leave a comment what type of content you prefer to see. If this is what you want, if like the development focused videos are more what you want, Do you want deep dives into what the other rocket companies around the world are doing? Let me know. That doesn't mean that I will do what you say in the comments, but I just want to get some kind of feeling for what you think. And what I think is I forgot the resource scanner for Ike. Yeah, that's the thing when you have to think about so many things you have to bring when you want to establish a working colony. Well, I did not have a checklist or anything, and I forgot the resource scanner, so I decided to not wait for the next transfer window and just send it. And this is going to require 7,000 meters per second of delta V to get to Duna, instead of the usual like 1,500. But thankfully the payload is very small, so we can do that more easily than with like a humongous couple 100-ton payload or something. Yeah, so what's going to come next in this series once we have established Duna colony? I still have the deep space relay that I have to finish. That is going to take a couple of years in-game because, yeah, well, orbits around the sun take a long time, and I have to set that up in sort of a resonating orbit with 6 elements, so yeah, that's going to take a while. What I also want to do is I want to hunt comets and asteroids and maybe bring some of them into orbit around Kerbal and establish some kind of cool space station constructed out of multiple asteroids. I always wanted to do that, never got around to doing that. And of course I also want to establish some infrastructure in the Joule planet system. So Joule is kind of its own miniature solar system without, well, of course, the sun, since there's a gas giant in the middle, and then of course all those moons around it. And there are some interesting things you can do there. What's also interesting is Kerbal Space Program glitching out on me. First I had no idea what was happening, but that was due to the fact that I had an encounter with Ike not in that orbit, but the next one. So after I passed the apoapse, everything was fine and back to normal, but still a little bit confusing at first. Well, and here we are separating from our propulsion system, so to speak. Well, we still have a propulsion system, but that was our interplanetary propulsion system, and it's going to crash into Ike's surface, adding some uranium or other nuclear deposits onto that surface. Unfortunately, we can't mine those, we can only mine ore, but we can't mine anything before we can scan this. Well, we can, but it's going to be probably very inefficient. And what I'm going to do here is try to set things up, and we're going to see all of these things next week. Which is going to be a lot of fun. Until then, I still have to set up more relays because I'm now out of range. If you choose one of the higher tiers on Patreon, you will see an early access version of that video, and your name will also show up here together with all of these wonderful folks. If you're not a fan of subscriptions and paying a monthly support for this channel, you can also select single videos on Patreon, and for a small amount you can watch those single videos and don't have to shell out a subscription for the Patreon service. And of course, as always, there are some affiliate links in the description for stuff I use that it's maybe interesting to you what kind of equipment I used to make these videos. Now, I need to get back to making more video and more Kerbal shenanigans for you. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe to my channel for more and follow me on my social thingies. The links are in the description. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.